It is 4:20 on Tuesday evening, early evening, almost afternoon still. I don't know. I'm tired. But you see that big stack of siding sitting there that was delivered today, a day ahead of schedule, which is fine. I'm not mad. Just means I can do more if I get done with what I'm going to do today, which is going to be all the top plates. We're going to do all the top plates today. Get everything nailed down so the building is done as far as uppage until, of course, trusses. I'm going to go through, do all the layout for the trusses, get all that sorted all the way down, and then we're going to put the first row of siding all the way across the bottom so the building is shored up. So when we go to do the trusses, there's no racking, no wibbles, no wobbles, no nothing. And it'll look like a building somewhat. So that's the goal. That's the idea, at least, is to get everything laid out, ready for trusses, get the first row of siding done all the way 8 foot high, all the way around, to include cutting out the doors and all that stuff, so that the outside portion of the building's first area or first row is skinned. I got the puppy. It's gone full gas. Hazina. Yeah. Come here. Come here. Oh, still ferocious. She's such a ferocious puppy. Oh, piranha. Okay. Oh. Yeah, full gas. So we're going to take her inside so she's not underneath my feet and end up getting hurt. But while I'm pulling all my toys out, she can run around and get some of that gas out of her. All right, let's get things set up and get rolling.
So classic. So
All right, it is 6:40. I'm done. The kid and the wife did chores, so I'm off the hook for chores tonight because this was a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. Doing the top plates, I had to fight the boards to keep it all straight, so it wasn't just wham bam thank you ma'am. It was do a couple of bays, smooth everything over, adjust, get everything lined up, do a couple of bays, so on and on and on. But I got the top plates done all the way around. As you can see up there, they are double top plated now. Everything is secured to the top. So every wall is double plated and ready for trusses. I did go through and do my layout for the trusses, so those are all done. And tomorrow, I'm going to start putting siding on, just to shore everything up before we start putting on the trusses, so the building doesn't fall over on me while I'm doing that. So I'm tired. I'm ready for some food. a shower, and then I'm gonna go to bed because I have to get up and go to work tomorrow. So, all right, that's Tuesday night done. On to the next one. It is Wednesday, 4:30. Just getting out here. Air compressor's still firing up, but we're gonna take that there stack of siding. We're gonna start skidding this pig. We're gonna start on the north wall here because I know that's the most square, most plumb, most true wall. Granted, they all look pretty damn good, but this is the best one. And we're just gonna go straight down and we're gonna cut on the back wall. We'll do the back wall, then we'll work our way around. We'll see how far we get. As long as I can get one section done and figure out my rhythm, I'll be good with the progress for tonight. But yeah, we're gonna start making this thing look like something. We're only doing the first tier up to, 8 feet. I'm gonna drop down about a 1/2 inch below for the drip edge on the bottom. But yeah, that's today. We're gonna make this look like a building. And then once that first layer is done all the way around, we're gonna start putting trusses up here and start flipping them up one at a time and start putting the roof on. It's gonna start looking like a real building here soon. We got a nice rectangle, pretty square with some holes in it for doors, but now we're gonna make it look like a real building. So let's see what kind of damage we can cause in 2 hours. Let's go. As you can see behind me, the stack has been broken into. A lot of progress today. May not look like much, but it's a lot to me. So check this out. I got a wall the whole way down. And not only that, as you can see, the rest of the back wall is also skinned. That is beautimous. Absolutely beautimous. Let me take you around back so you can see. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to make anybody seasick. Let's see here. There we go, that's a great angle. That wall is straight. There's no weeble wobbles or curves or anything. It's a straight shot all the way down. I mean, who's going to complain about that for a first timer with no adult supervision? I'm not mad at that at all. I've got 2 freaking walls done. Now, the rest is going to be interesting because of the doors. Because I have no idea how good my layout's going to be on these doors. So we're going to play that by ear. I know I can get 1 full sheet here, and then it's going to be a cutout. And then probably a cutout on the other end, of course. So we'll just play that by ear and do it one at a time. But, I mean, the shade's great. But, I mean, let's see. Now that I've got walls, or some semblance of a walls, and you see, I can't even complain. That is amazing. Anyway, that's the progress for today. That's hump day. So tomorrow we'll tackle the south wall and see what kind of damage I can cause there. And if we get the rest of it skinned, maybe we'll this weekend do some truss work. God, it's exciting. All right, we'll see you next time. Okay, it is Thursday, 4:20 in the afternoon. I am pooped. I am definitely feeling the calorie deficit today. It's taking it out of me. I just don't have a whole lot of energy. But unfortunately, if nobody's doing any work out here, i.e. me, nothing gets done. So I'm going to just continue to plod along and do what I can. I'm going to go through and skin this wall now. At least, that's the goal, is to get this wall done. And if I still got any gas after that, I'll keep going. But small goals today, because I'm tired. Working a 9 to 5, coming straight home, and then doing this for 2 hours a night. It's a lot. So we're going to continue to pursue. We're going to continue to endeavor to pursue. There you go. I got words. So bear with me. Time lapse will go here in a minute. You can watch me fuck my way through this. So yeah, let's get our tools out and get started, huh? here's a new angle for y'all. I got this half and this whole wall. So I got half a wall left to go. And then we're going to start putting trusses up. So hopefully this weekend, you'll start seeing some A-frames going up on top of this pig. But yeah, pretty snazzy. Got one little man door here I can actually use now because I can get rid of all the framing or the stabilizers I had in there for the racking. So not mad at all. That is Thursday's progress. I'm sure the time lapse was hilarious because I was fucking all over the place. I've almost ate it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, dropping stuff, not doing stuff right. So I'm surprised I got this far. I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning too. All right, let's go get some food, take a shower, probably just go straight to bed. Okay, until next time. Okay, it is Saturday morning, 10:40 actually in the morning, but I took yesterday off. I was definitely feeling the effects of all the stuff that I've been doing. I slept for 9.5 hours last night, which is not normal for me. So evidently my body was telling me something. So anyway, today's agenda is to finish skinning this side of the wall. We'll get this last section done here, and then we'll get the support set up so when I flip open or flip up the gable and trusses, there's something there to catch it. So we'll get those supports in place on both ends. And if I'm feeling up to it, I might actually put the trusses up. Not sure how that's going to go. We'll see. It could be just comedic relief for the time lapse as I try to struggle to bust that up. But we'll take it one step at a time and see how I feel. But today's agenda is at least get this rest of this skinned and get set up to start flipping up trusses. So without further ado, less yakking, more working. that's Saturday done. It's 3:30. I'm on the hook for dinner tonight because I promised I'd make smash burgers on the new Blackstone. So I better get my hands washed because I'm full of pitch and grossness and get my crap together. But got a lot done today in the short amount of time I got to work on it. So there it is. Both gable end trusses are up. The entire first run of the wall is skinned. And as you can see, I also got 3 regular trusses up. And if you're curious how my homemade trusses are working out, I'd say that's pretty dang good. And now you can see just how large the building is going to actually end up being. I don't think I'm going to have a problem with snow load. Pretty sure it's going to come right off of that. So that's Saturday's progress. Now it's time to download all the footage, put it in the Compooper, make a little montage of everything. And yeah, I'm going to lick my wounds after my thorough lesson of how gravity works today. Okay, on to next week. We'll see you next time.